and gentlemen, welcome to the Tommy Tiernan Show. And here's your host, Tommy Tiernan!
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that spontaneous round of applause in your own sitting rooms. I hope you enjoy what happens on the show over the next hour or so. So without further ado, can I hand you over to our beautiful MC for the evening, the wonderful Mr. Fred Cook.
Well, Tommy, our first guest is the fantastic Marian Keys.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, and yourself?
Great. I come across you every now and again on social media and stuff.
You?
And yeah, you're kind of you seem to be engaged with it.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on Instagram some of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not I don't see you.
I'm a spy in the world of social media.
Okay. You're a lurker.
Yeah, I'm a voyeur when it comes to other people's intimacies.
Yes, yeah.
Are you busy?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's been such a funny old time.
You look great, by the way. You look fantastic.
Thank you very much. Yeah. That would be the beautiful Hannah above in the makeup room, who was responsible for all of that. I've been working away, and I have a book coming out in a couple of weeks, and I'll have to kind of do the dreaded Zoom interviews and stuff. You know, it's so nice to be here in real life. Like, I haven't been out in weeks.
Where are you from?
Oh, I was born in Limerick, and then I lived in Cork till I was 8.
Yeah.
Then I lived in Galway till I was nearly 12. Then I moved to Dublin. Then I moved to London, and then I moved back to Dublin 22 years ago.
You have that kind of Western lilt.
Yeah, thank you.
My
mother's from Clare, and my father was from Limerick. So, you know.
What prompted all the movings?
My dad's job.
Was he a thief or something like that?
Yeah, he was a criminal. He was on the run from the law. And I mean, we used to just have to pack up and run away in the middle of the night. Yeah. He was in local government. And I have no idea why there were so many. It seemed to be a good thing. Like, every time we moved, it was kind of, we got nicer carpets, or kind of an extra bedroom or something like that.
And did the thing of moving schools all the time, what effect did that have on you, do you think?
I mean, I liked the idea in theory of like when you started in the new and kind of being able to reinvent yourself, especially because, I mean, up to the age of 8 when I lived in Cork, I was like really, really timid, and kind of, and very shy. And you see, and I read an awful lot of Enid Blyton books, and in Enid Blyton books, the new girl was always the kind of the event, and that people would be really interested in her. So I tried to be an event.
Is that a thing of children who something bad is too loaded a term, but something traumatic, and like that's too loaded a term, but happens, and they feel that they don't want to attract any attention to themselves by being unhappy, so the easiest thing to do is to pretend to be very happy.
Oh, well, see, I didn't pretend to be very happy. I mean, I know what you're saying. And I mean, nothing overtly traumatic happened at all. But I do think that, like some people, I came out of the womb a bit like missing the shell, a little bit wonky. I mean, I've always kind of felt mildly, lopsided, a little bit, centre back. I just found life and people. I was afraid an awful lot at the time. And I mean, again, it was partly me, and it was partly the times. Like, this was, like, I was born in 1963, and it was just such a time of kind of...
Geez, I was born after that, and you look much younger than I do.
Yeah, but you see, I do attend the Botox doctor, so, I'm between Hannah and the Botox doctor. Yeah. If I didn't have that now, I would look like Peg. So, it was a time of kind of... It was a really odd country, Ireland, back then. We've changed profoundly, thank God. But I'm kind of porous, and I picked up the fear.
Does that not come from home?
I love my parents, and they did such a wonderful job. But they were afraid. I mean, my mother is a devout Catholic, Her faith is really important to her. Like, she gets so much solace from it. My dad isn't with us anymore. He was different. I mean, I don't think he got the solace that my mother gets. But also, you know, I have a vivid imagination. So I took bits and pieces of their fear or their devotion and obviously created something else. Like, my parents were lovely. And so any of my neuroses are mine.
When did the writing start?
When I was 30. You're looking funny.
I'm just, for someone who's so good at it, that seems like a late start.
It is a late start, Tommy, yeah. I mean, I had no idea I wanted to do it. I went to UCD and I got a degree in law when I finished school. Like, I was good at school in that, like, I was afraid to not be good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always passed my exams and I did my ECR and that. And I had no idea that I wanted to write. And it wasn't until I was in the final throes of alcoholic drinking, and it was just like a short time after my 30th birthday, I started writing short stories, like, out of the blue, like, completely unexpected. It came as a surprise to me, and it was the first time that I had done something that I thought, I'm proud of this. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was just, but like, I think, the home I came from, my mother is a fantastic raconteur, like, and she's really funny. And our house was like, there'd be a lot of stories told around the kitchen table. So I had learnt how to be a person who could, control a story.
I'm fascinated because
Go on.
it's, so I was wondering, did you have a punk moment? And you did, because somebody who is doesn't want to get into trouble, feels living in a repressive country, would like everybody on the street to be happy. And when does she get angry?
Oh, well,
When does she allow herself to be on fire? And it sounds like the way that came to you might have been through drinking.
yeah, I mean, when I left here in 1986, I lived with my gay friend. My poor father was aghast. He thought I'm ruined. Nobody would ever want me. I lived with my gay friend in a squat on the 21st floor of a tower block in Hackney. And I mean, and I was on the dole. Like, it was...
But how do you go from... Because you sound like the perfect convent girl.
Yeah.
How do you go from that to a squat?
Oh,
halfway
no,
up the sky?
no, I was quite... the wheels were coming off in my final year at school, and I was very angry. And then in college, like I drank so much, I drank everything, and from much earlier, like, it was all about alcohol.
So when did you start? How old were you when you started drinking?
14.
Okay.
And
Are you able to look back on this almost as a funny anecdote, or is it trouble?
It's not trouble,
Okay.
but it's not funny either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's compassion for myself because I hadn't a clue. I hadn't a clue how to be in the world. I hadn't a clue how to manage my own feelings. I hadn't a clue how to manage relationships. I was just lost. So when I started drinking, I thought, this is it. This is the thing I need. This is what's going to help me get through the world like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Suddenly I can be normal. I have found my crutch, my insulin, whatever the bit that was missing in me, I found it now. So it was huge relief.
Yeah.
And so it stayed the most important relationship of my life until I had no choice but to stop.
Can I ask you, what kind of a drunk were you?
I was a maudlin one. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I cried rather than started fights in Duns. And I drank alone. I'd be there like wrong crying, watching telly, like seeing double with my hand over one eye, like crying over the baby seals. I was that sort of I was a pain of a drunk, rather than I wasn't an entertaining drunk at all. Like, the thing that I wanted was oblivion.
So that's a sign of the thing that you wanted was oblivion. Now, that's remarkable that you say that, because my mother drank herself to suicide.
Oh God, Tommy, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, but
I'm so sorry.
No, but what I'm struck by is that she was asked by a friend of hers, what are you looking for when you're drinking? And my mother replied, oblivion. And you're the only other person I've ever heard use that phrase when it comes to, it's a desire for...
To be nothing.
Wow.
To be nothingness.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's any consolation, Tommy, many alcoholics that I know, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
You know, we drank as much as we could, as fast as we could, to not be, to erase ourselves. And I just couldn't bear being me. And I am so sorry about your mother.
That's
I didn't
okay.
know.
That's all right, yeah.
And the awful thing is, I mean, like the more you drink, the more I drank, the worse I felt. So the more I drank.
Yeah, yeah.
And like everything looked horrible, like the world looked ugly the whole time. I stopped and suddenly the world is full of colour and loveliness. And then I had been living in London. I'd come to rehab in Ireland, but I went back to London and I ended up getting a flat on my own through, again, sheer luck. And I had no money, but I used to go to the second-hand shops and I used to buy curtains and candles and beautiful things, and because I would never have spent money on that before. And just life got lovely really fast.
Were you ever concerned about coming back?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. But I married an Englishman, and he, like long before I ever met him, like he loved Christy Moore, and he loved, like, you know, Martin Hayes, and like, and he loved Irish writers, and he loved Ireland, and like he was the one who wanted to move back.
Okay.
And yeah, Ireland was a lot different by then. So I felt like, yeah, I could probably breathe. It took me about 6 months before I felt.
It's a phenomenal thing to discover. A gift, and a gift that people, that the public want. It's astonishing to become a success like that.
It is.
You know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm aware of how ridiculously lucky I've been.
But at the same time, you have an awareness of craft, and so there's that thing of, okay, to be thanking the world for their niceness. But at the same time, you're aware of a book as a separate thing from yourself and something that has to be crafted.
Yeah. I mean, people don't believe novelists when they say writing a novel is hard work. I you know, before I started, I used to think that like a person sat down and just started typing the beginning and just kept going like easy as you please all the way through, not a kind of a hiccup or a bother, until they got to the end and then it was done and off they went. I didn't realise that you have to spend a lot of time maybe soul searching about particular characters, or that like you think you've got a plot in place and suddenly it doesn't convince, or, you know, that it does. Like, I do actually work very hard, but like, it's the best job that somebody like me could do. I love what I do. I absolutely love it. And like, I have, just touching wood, you know, but like, what else does anyone need, like, in a life?
Talk to me about the books and where they sell. Like, they sell everywhere.
They do. Yeah,
So
in a lot of places, yeah.
So talk to me about when you release a book, like, do your publishers say, oh, Marian, we're going to sell 1 million of these, 2 million? Or...
No, it doesn't work like that at all. I mean, like, it depends on each territory. That's what it's called, you know. They don't say country. An awful lot sells in the UK. A lot sell in Sweden, Spain, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. I mean, a lot of the Nordic countries. You know, now and again, like, you know, an odd country like Thailand would say, yeah, give us the rights for this one, you know, but it wouldn't be for all of them, you know. Or Canada, actually, you know, there's been a lot in Canada recently. You know, or Russia has taken a few, France the odd few, but you know, like the French are very, very, you know, they've rarefied sensibilities.
They have notions, like.
They have notions, the very thing, they have the highest of notions. Yeah, like, you know, Turkey, Greece, I mean, it depends. But like, then they go to the Brazilians, they go, you know, bring it here, yes, you know. It's funny, like Brazil, Do you know? And not really in the rest of South America at all.
Yeah.
Like not in the Spanish-speaking bits.
Tell us about the Botox, will you?
Oh, I will. Yeah. Actually, I need to get it done again. I tell you, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's so quick. People think it's it's a big deal. You know, you come in and they look at you with the light, you know, to see, oh, Jesus.
You look for... great.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, I would look like Peg. Give it another 2 months, and it's Shan Van Misha and Ish. Yeah, and they go, oh God, yeah, look at you there now, the old bits. You see, I would normally have furrows to my eyebrows now that you could plant potatoes in. You know, you get some roosters popping up there, and they go, and they give you a couple of old injections, and it stings a bit, you know, and then you go home, and you know it doesn't happen straight away, you know. But like over 2 weeks, your eyebrows start lifting and lifting and lifting, and then you're walking around like this. And people say, "Did you get your Botox?" No. And then it just got easier to just say, yeah, I did. You know, you're like, I haven't the energy to be lying, you know. So it's just easy to say, yeah, you know.
And does your fella say to you, irrespective? Does your fella say to you, "You're so beautiful to me without Botox"?
And I say, you haven't seen Shan Van Misha and Ish, you know.
So can I ask you then, right?
Yeah.
This is intimate now.
Work away.
So is there a thing, I know absolutely nothing about Botox, but is there a thing for you that went, okay, my face is wonderful and smooth?
Yeah. And the rest of me, Mother of God, from the neck down, Tommy, Shan Van Misha and Ish, you know. Oh my God, it's like 2 different people. Like, you know, 80 years apart. Oh God, it's a war zone from below. Oh.
So would you have a thing then of feeling self-conscious about your husband looking at you naked then?
Not really,
and
no.
saying these aren't the same?
Yeah. God almighty. Jesus, do you get a head transplant or something? No, I don't. Yeah. I think that's another thing about getting older. You know, like, I know that there are things I can't change about myself. I can't Botox me arse, do you know? I mean, and I would if I could. And maybe I wouldn't even. It really doesn't matter that much anymore, the rest of me. He likes me and I don't mind me, you know? And I mean, I never felt right in my body, and I never felt, I don't know. I was never anything like the women we were told we should look like. And now, at this age, I realised that it was ridiculous ever trying to be like Cindy Crawford or whoever, Kate Moss. Yeah. And so I've become more forgiving of my billions of imperfections. And they're not even imperfections. They're just the way a body is, having been on the planet for 57 years. And that's okay.
Do you have children?
No, we don't have children. We would have loved, we wanted to have 6. But I felt that I had been given so much, and I felt my husband and I were very, very lucky to have met each other. You know, we're very close, do you know? And I felt it was like the universe was telling us, lads, you got enough. You've enough. Go on. You know, let it. And so we decided, like, we made a decision that we would be happy with what we had rather than what we hadn't. And I mean, now and again, we still talk about the six bunnies that we would have had, and we, you know, they would have been called Sive and Tig and Saoirse and Shabelle, and, you know, fabulous names like that. And, but like, that was ridiculous because I'm treating them like they were dolls. You know, they would be their own people. So, what can you do?
Nothing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm sorry, I've talked hours and hours and too much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a real pleasure.
It's been an honour, Tommy. It really has. I have loved you a long time. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep, it's back. Big tasty, big love.